I mean, let's be honest, you probably already know why I'm making this video, but let's look into this. So I was just calling on Reddit, and I'm surprised it's only from 2 hours ago. But yeah, just in, X announces a new partnership with Wealthsimple so Canadian users can trade seamlessly from X, announced by Polymarket Money. So very little of it made sense to me 2 hours ago, and it still doesn't really make sense once I looked into it a little bit more. But let's take a look from the beginning. So obviously, first of all, as you guessed, a lot of comments on Reddit especially would probably not be favorable. Why would I want my personal banking matters tied to any social media corporation, especially one like X? This doesn't even serve any customer. I can already trade seamlessly directly from the Wealthsimple app, which is an absolutely valid point. I'm still trying to figure this out as well, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this. As someone who has moved mostly all my banking to Wealthsimple, I hate this and think this is a poor business decision. It's a very interesting business decision for sure. As a Canadian institution, they wouldn't want to be associated with Elon or anyone from the current US administration. It must have been a very expensive project with potentially an outcome for even more money. But just as an average Joe, just like you, right, without any insight into anything, into any complexities of what they're dealing with, I am not 100% certain why they would want to be associated with Elon Musk. I mean, seriously, I'm just saying he's just not a very popular person right now. I'm not sure like what circles he's actually popular in, at least with the general population. Like I still see people driving Teslas, but I mean, whether it's the US or Canada or Europe for that matter, I'm not certain who would want to be necessarily associated with him like this. And if we were to say, oh, Shopify announced this. Well, I think they say a lot of things about Shopify CEO. Yeah, so Mr. Tobias here, if he proposed this partnership, he's been in a couple of controversies, whether it's with AI, whether it's with the layoffs, this kind of stuff. But again, Wealthsimple is kind of a different company that has a very different image, at least to me. So I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm back on Reddit here, and I have noticed a lot of people have actually sent some complaints to the wealthsimple.com. So we'll see how this partnership actually runs or for how long. I don't expect it to be too long, but who knows. But anyways, let's look into this. So actually, funnily enough, I stumbled upon this link where a leak actually happened 3 weeks ago. So despite this being kind of a jump scare to me, apparently someone has leaked this 3 weeks ago. And it seems like, yeah, Elon Musk's social network X appears to be integrating stock trading into its platform, and it will be powered by Toronto fintech Wealthsimple. That's according to a screenshot, so it's just a screenshot shared by RMP613, who routinely dives through app codes. You can click on a Cashtag and it will show you a trade button which says powered by Wealthsimple. Explained Aaron on Wednesday. He told iPhone in Canada he enabled code to show the integration in the screenshot. He had a solid track record of finding out gems within Apple's operating system. So yeah, very interesting. I've definitely been jump scared, and I guess it kind of flew under the radar because, again, I have not seen the mention of this, at least on Reddit. Not on the Personal Finance Canada, not on Wealthsimple Canada. Nowhere. Yeah, this screenshot is sorry, let me cancel this. This screenshot is very interesting. I'm trying to see if this is kind of actually how it's going to be on X. But yeah, we'll find out. Another little note here. I guess it's in this article. I was going to jump to. It says that the Toronto company is looking to offer prediction trading in Canada, similar to what you see from Polymarket and Cashy for real world events. And I'm not sure if this is the reason we're kind of seeing that it's being announced by Polymarket Money. Not quite certain. But yeah, while that is not allowed in Canada, Wealthsimple's approval from the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization is only for economic indicators, financial markets, and climate trend. It confirmed. So that means no betting on election or sports, for example. Interesting. So, and I was just actually thinking about this article from a while back. I actually found it about how they were talking about the prediction markets, how they're suddenly everywhere and Wall Street wants in because, yeah, there's a lot of money to be made. And this is a very interesting note at the end of it here. If you believe in the democratization of finance, as Robinhood certainly does, that means letting people do whatever they want with their money, even if they don't always make the wisest decisions. Like, say, betting on Elon Musk's tweeting habits. Now, I wouldn't say that Brannon here actually had some inside information and was a little prelude to what Wealthsimple was going to do, but it's a very interesting coincidence, talking about the democratization of finance here. And of course, you see a lot of this news on crypto platforms like MEXC exchange, which I've never actually used, but the big one is the KuCoin. Both of them are talking about X launching Cashtags in the US and Canada, enabling embedded trading with Wealthsimple. They should be able to view real-time data and price charts for stocks and crypto using Cashtags or contract addresses. This feature also includes a pilot with Wealthsimple, allowing Canadian users to trade directly from Cashtags. Altcoins to watch may attract increased attention as the Fear and Greed Index indicates rising market sentiment. The rollout will expand web and Android platforms soon. So without reading anything else, obviously this is a summary. And, if you want to read it, you could yourself. I don't want to bore you here. But based on this, what I'm trying to figure out again, the question I asked you at the very beginning is why does it make sense for a company like Wealthsimple to do this, considering they are kind of in a really good standing with Canadians and getting into this deal with Elon Musk. But I guess this is partnership not just for the users of Wealthsimple necessarily. Instead, they're the ones providing the real-time data. Is that what's happening? Because that's the only way I will understand this. Like, it's this huge market opportunity to provide all these tickers and all these charts that obviously somehow they'll be compensated for having all these US users. Because otherwise, I don't really see a lot of, Canadians browsing Twitter and making purchases directly from Twitter. I don't really see that myself. And even during my years when I was, trading crypto and being a lot more aggressive, stock picking, doing all that stuff that made me lose a lot of money in the short run and the long run, both, I still don't quite get it. Even then, especially doing some trading or like fast-paced stuff, slow-paced stuff, I've always tried doing it on my phone or, preferably on a laptop, actually seeing what's going on. Unless you're index investing, which, again, if you're only doing it once a month, why would you do that via a social media platform? And of course, and another reason I'm bringing this up is, from someone who has a little bit of experience with software, it's a huge lift. There is a lot more security that has to be added. I'm sure there are really smart people working on this who are obviously smarter than me. However, I'm trying to see the upside of this because the downside, something happens with X or with the code base or with their keys or with Grok going a little bit insane. The downside is pretty sizable. So what's the upside here for Wealthsimple? So let's try to find it. Okay, so I just went to their Twitter and I see it 3 hours ago. Hello, smart Cashtags. Starting today, any ticker tapped on X routes Canadian investors straight to Wealthsimple to trade. One tap from conversation to order entry. That's it. So based on this tweet, I am seeing Canadian investors. And I guess, again, based on what we read earlier, it seems like the US investors will just see the chart and the prices that Wealthsimple will provide them, but the Canadians can actually go straight to Wealthsimple to trade. I'm still trying to figure this out, guys. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so they click on KO. Okay, so it simply transfers you to the Wealthsimple app. Interesting. So that integration, you don't actually make the purchase physically on X. All right. So I guess all the security stuff I have been talking about, maybe it doesn't necessarily apply here because you still have to do it through the app. Unfortunately, I don't have a Twitter account, so I can't read the comments. But again, maybe you have a better idea. It's obviously very expensive. And Wealthsimple is doing great. A lot of people actually complaining that they, instead of focusing on the cards, I think here, let me just control F here real quick. Yeah, right here. Yeah, they'll focus on anything but releasing their credit card to everyone. And that's really funny. Luckily, I'm not on the wait list. I've talked about it in many videos. I don't want to direct deposit my money into Wealthsimple for personal reasons. And then I do not have that much money in investments to, I don't have 100K in investments to make this card essentially free for myself. And for $240 a year, it doesn't make sense. But there are a lot of people who are waiting. And again, I'm sure there is something holding it back. It's not the software developers who are working on this that are being taken off the credit card release. I'm sure there's a lot more complexity in that and logistics. But it's just funny to me because it is indeed the case. They have been doing a lot of interesting promos and, little gold spinny, little gold giveaway, house giveaway, something deposit for the wallet, deposit for the keychain. I'm not sure what's going on here. But, if their goal here was to generate buzz, I'm sure they have because, that seems like a big deal. Partnering with a company like X at a time like this, I mean, you gotta admit it takes balls. Whatever their strategy is, I guess the risks and the potential repercussions are absolutely worth it. So, let's see what happens. If you have any ideas, please enlighten me because I'm genuinely confused what the business practice here is. I don't think a second that it takes me to actually, open the other app and type in the ticker is worth the complexity they're dealing with here with this Twitter implementation, X implementation. Oh my God. One day I'll actually switch to calling it X, but it's a little hard for me. So yeah, let me know. I would love to hear what you guys think. I'm very curious what this could be. Like whether it's Elon Musk himself interested in partnering with this fintech just to, warm up to the Canadian market because he has said a lot of things from what I recall. Let's see. Very easy. We'll just type in Canada. First article. That's okay. I thought it was going to take something from last year or something, but I mean, that's days ago. So I don't know. Okay, and this is what 14 days ago. I don't know what's going on. So I guess we'll find out. Thank you guys for watching. It's a little bit of a rant video. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here, but yeah, let me know what you think and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.